Hi, this is Ka, and for today's video, I thought I could talk about my best 2023 stationery and journal purchases. I have made similar posts before, like for example, my journal necessities and the best planner and journal decisions I've made in 2023 posts, things like that I uploaded on Instagram. And I've mentioned these items a lot on YouTube too. So they might seem a bit repetitive, but like this is how I genuinely feel and what I want to sort of like express and recommend. So that's why I keep repeating the same stuff. But I also uploaded a post on this exact topic as well. My best 2023 stationery and journal purchases. I've uploaded that post on Instagram, and I do this for every YouTube video. But for every YouTube video that I upload, before I upload the video, I do try to upload a post about the same topic. And so you can just see, what I will talk about in the video beforehand. So I did upload the post. But yeah, the first item on this list, it's the Hobonichi Cousin. You've heard me rave about this all the time. I am really glad that I have a daily journal for 2023. Not all the pages are filled, but I do have a lot of the pages filled, and I have a lot of collections in it too for the pages I didn't fill. And I go through and reread the entries I had written, and I stick in a lot of ephemera too. For example, like the tickets from the illustration fair that I attended and things like that. I do stick in a lot of ephemera, so it did get a bit chunky, my 2023 Hobonichi Cousin. But I love looking back at the ephemera and going through all the words and things like that. So I am very glad I have the Hobonichi Cousin, and I will continue for 2024 as well. And one thing that I did realize is that the Tomoe River paper in the new Hon, it's a lot drier and crispier than the Tomoe River paper in the Cousin last year. Last year, the Hobonichi Cousin, the Tomoe River paper felt a bit, it was very soft, and it felt almost a bit wet. Technically, it's not wet, but like it felt a bit wet. But this Hon, the Tomoe River paper here, it's a lot drier and crispier, which I thought was interesting. So yeah, I have that. But yeah, and since I've realized the importance for me, personal importance, of keeping a daily journal, I've now realized why people recommend keeping a 5-year journal. So I'm very excited for this too. I have updated the first 5 days. Today's January 6th. So I have updated the first 5 days of January. I have written in them, and for the for the Hon as well, I have written in the first 5 days. Yeah. So that's number 1. And number 2, it's a Platinum Curatus. And you've heard me rave about this multiple times before too. And I just love using the platinum carbon ink in it. And I kept this with my Hobonichi Cousin last year, but then I've now migrated this to this setup for my 2024 setup. So I'll keep writing in here with this. And in my 5-year, I'm using my Pilot Vanishing Point in the EF nib, and this is a lot thinner, the lines, so I think it's a lot, I'm able to write smaller in here because the size is smaller. So I'm using the thinner one, and because this is the A5 and I can write bigger, I'm using the thicker one. This is also in the EF nib, but the lines are a lot thicker. So I have that. That's number 2. Numbers 3 and 4. Number 3, it's the Midori Metal Index Clip. And number 4, it's the blotting paper. And I get mine from Amazon Japan. So I had gotten these before from Amazon Japan. And I've never really mentioned these items in my videos or posts because I didn't realize how much I relied on them and how much I used them. But now, because I've moved into a new setup and I've created multiple setups, I keep around maybe like, I cut them down to the actual size. So this is the B6 size, but I keep like an average of 2 to 3 blotting papers in each setup, and the index clips, metal clips, probably more than like 5 per setup. But you know, these are like removable, and you can move them to different pages, so I don't need these that much. But once I cut this down to its size that I want to use it with, then I can't really do about it. I can't go bigger. I can go smaller, of course, but I can't go bigger. So I've run out of blotting paper, and so I've realized how much I use blotting paper and these clips. So in the near future, I think I will have to make another purchase from Amazon. But yeah, I just wanted to mention these two because I did not realize how much I used them and how much I relied on them. So I think these would have to be one of my best purchases in 2023, stationery wise. So I totally recommend using these. And for the blotting paper, even when I'm not using a fountain pen, I think because of the blotting papers that I use all the time, I don't really use a pencil board. I use a blotting paper instead. If like something behind the page is bumpy, I would just stick this, because I think pencil boards do feel a bit too stiff, and I don't like how the line comes out. It could be a fountain pen, or it could be just a normal like gel pen or ballpoint pen. I don't like how thin the line becomes when I try to write with a pencil board underneath the page. So I always use a blotting paper, and I never really use the pencil boards that I have. I use my blotting paper instead. And so not only for fountain pens, I stick the blotting paper when I do write, with a fountain pen. I need to turn the page before it dries. I do stick the blotting paper in between the pages. But even when I just write with the gel pen or ballpoint pen, I do stick it in after I need to turn the page and write somewhere else. So yeah, must have. And these two, I tend to use the metal index clips for everyday and daily and monthly uses. So this indicates my notes pages, and the first one, it's my monthly pages. Second one, it's my weekly pages, and third one, it's a page for my freelance work notes, which I do need to go into daily. So I do need to move it. So this is right now, the monthly tab is at January, but I'll need to move it next month. So these are all, I use these index clips for pages I need to go daily, and for whenever I need to move it. If I need to move it, then I use the daily tabs, the metal tabs. But for these tabs, right now this is the health tab, and I can't move this. It's just to indicate where that section starts. So I do use different tabs for different purposes, but I use the metal tabs a lot, so I also wanted to mention that. So those are 3 and 4. And then the thermal printer. I think journaling has been, in 2023, journaling has been much more enjoyable because I had a thermal printer and also a color printer, but I use this a lot more than the color printer that I have. I have the Canon Selfie, but the sheets are expensive, and I need to set it up when I want to use it, so I don't use it as much, and I only use that to print when I print people, but I use this for everything else. So this is much more portable and convenient to use, so I used this a lot more in 2023. And so I think having photos and and printing screenshots of words that I don't have to write again all over in the Hobonichi cousin. Having that, this to do that, I think was so important for me to like enjoy journaling, I think so, and enjoy the Hobonichi cousin. So I am really glad I bought this, and I think it is one of my best purchases. It is a bit on the more expensive side, but I really do think it was useful and worth the money. So totally recommend getting a printer. Yeah, a thermal printer. Yeah, so that's number 5. So these are my like top 5 stationery journal purchases for 2023. I hope it was interesting, and I'll be back next week with a different video. Thank you so much for watching.